So, I guess you heard the good news.
What news? Xbot?
Well, it's true. MLB The Show will be going to Xbox Game Pass day one. So, Xbox gamers can play the game for just $1. Yes, it's the equivalent of paying just $1 to play MLB The Show on Xbox. Meanwhile, on the PlayStation 5, it's going to cost $70 to pay a first party PlayStation exclusive. I can see you breaking up inside. Are you okay, son? Are you okay? I can see you're sort of hurting real deeply right now. Are you okay? $70? You have to pay $70. Alright, that does it. Leave the PS fanboy alone.
Get out of here, I said! Lisa! Lisa! Lisa, are you here? Get out of the street, you fucking bum! You gave up on life, didn't you?
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now before I get into this video, I just want to say no hard feelings against King's Thrash. He seems like a decent fella. He's got shares in the N-word, unfortunately, which makes his videos really hard to just sit through. And he does like to overuse his thumbnails somewhat. It's a bit uncreative there. But I just want to sort of probe some points he made on a recent video about MLB going to Game Pass. So let's get into this. But thank you for joining my channel, and please sub and share.
I'm not mad at Jim Ryan. I'm mad at the ignorance, but I'm not mad at Jim. Like a lot of niggas is blaming Jim Ryan, and I'm not here saying Jim Ryan is not to blame. It's the ignorance of believing in Western companies. Phil Spencer made that isn't good for Xbox. I fail to understand how this is good for Xbox. It's good for Game Pass. All right. At the end of the day, this deal was made, nigga, for Game Pass, not for Xbox.
What the fuck are you talking about?
First off, before I get on to the rest of his points he's made, I'd like to sort of focus on what he said about Game Pass. Firstly, he's thinking that MLB will be the best thing in Game Pass, and because until that point it had nothing in it. The Game Pass was trash, it had no decent games in it. I think there's a bit of a reach saying MLB will be the best game in Game Pass. I think that's a massive reach there, a very desperate reach, because just looking at the quality of games in Game Pass, including Outriders, which just launched day one on Xbox Game Pass, compared to PlayStation, where it's £70 I believe to buy, or £60. I think to say the quality isn't there is ridiculous. You know, I mean, you can just look at the AAA games and some of the games in there that far exceed MLB The Show, which, you know, let's just look at the bottom line of it. Only about 1 million players on PS4 bought the MLB each year. Each year the game would launch, only about 1 million to 2 million would buy it. That's with 140 million consoles sold. So this is why MLB wanted to take it away as being exclusive to the PlayStation in the first place, because you wasn't supporting it. But to still continue the narrative that the Game Pass is game fodder, it's trash, and the most ridiculous thing that I keep on hearing especially from people in his the comments from PS fanboys in his show he done, was them saying that Game Pass makes no money, or the developers make no money. If the developers make no money, do you seriously think Sony would, one of the Sony first party games would go into Game Pass if it makes no money? Do you really think MLB would put themselves into that position where they're going to think, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to throw loads of money at this game, we're going to publish it ourselves for Xbox and put it in Game Pass with the intention of making no money from it? Yes, this is the mentality we have from that fan base.
To put games on my competition's motherfucking platform. Why would that? We are direct competitors. We are not paying for it. They're gonna be like, look, nigga, it's all good. We'll pay for it. So MLB publishes the game for Xbox. So Sony doesn't make the games for Xbox. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sony makes the games for the Xbox version, but MLB pays for that work. So they own they basically control, I say that, the Xbox version. Because again,
so Mr. Thrash is kind of right, or he is right in the sense that MLB are publishing the game. He's not right though about, or the point he's missing here is about the revenue, what's going to come from that. He seems to think, I think he's under the illusion that because Sony are making the game, they're going to reap all the rewards and all the revenue from the sales and whatever on Xbox. That's not necessarily the case at all, which is probably why MLB are publishing it. Because if we look at the actual definition of a publisher and what he does, a video game publisher is a company that publishes video games that have been developed either internally by the publisher or externally by a video game developer. They often finance the development, sometimes by paying a video game developer. So in this example, MLB will be paying the Sony developer, I can't remember who develops the game, for MLB The Show on the PlayStation. I can't remember who develops it, but the MLB will be directly paying them to develop the game for the Xbox. And sometimes by paying, this includes, and sometimes by paying an internal staff of developers called a studio, which is the studio that we speak of. The large video game publishers also distribute the games they publish, while smaller publishers, this is a large publisher, instead hire distribution companies or larger video game publishers to distribute the games they publish. Other functions usually performed by the publisher include deciding on the paying for any licenses used, paying for localization, layout, printing, and possibly writing of the user manual, etc, etc, etc. So, to break it down, by MLB saying they'll publish the Xbox version, basically they've paid out of their own pocket for the Sony devs to publish, to make the game, but they will pay for everything else for the Xbox version. This means all the revenue made from the Xbox version will be split between MLB and Xbox, and none of it will go back to Sony. None of it will go back to PlayStation because they've already been paid for the work. See it as PlayStation now at this stage of the game are like subcontractors. They're being paid to do something. They're doing that, so they've already been paid to do that. But any revenue made from the completed version will go straight to MLB and the Xbox. So any games sold, the revenue will be broken up between MLB, so all the stuff like any sort of the game sales, stuff like that, and advertising stuff. The majority of that will go to MLB, with a percentage going to Xbox and Game Pass. So PlayStation won't actually benefit from not publishing the game. This is probably why MLB took it off them. It's probably why MLB said, actually, we're going to publish the Xbox version, because they're going to reap more money from it than if Sony did it. So it probably would have been a better idea if PlayStation said, actually, no, we'll publish the game, because then they would have made all the money from the publishing rights and everything from the Xbox version as well. But now they're not. See, what happens when you got games that first-party Xbox developers are making that are also going to PlayStation, Xbox are still publishing them. So even though they're going on to PlayStation, Xbox still makes them and publish them, hence they make all the money. In this case, MLB are publishing it, not PlayStation. So PlayStation are like none of the money made from all the benefits of publishing a game. So PlayStation will be missing out massively here, and you get a lot of people whining and crying saying, but Game Pass don't make money, or the developers, because once again, as I said it before, the developers won't make money from this. Absolute rubbish. First off, Game Pass has, at the last count, 20 million people subscribed to it. There's 20 million people subscribed to Game Pass. Plus, all the Xbox consoles sold, that's across both generations, plus all PCs. Anyone with Game Pass on PC that's getting this game day one for $1 instead of paying £70 on the PlayStation. So anyone with a PlayStation and PC, you're going to be thinking, do I play this on my PC on Game Pass, or do I spend £60, £70 to buy a PS version? You're very likely going to get the PC version if you don't have an Xbox, or you might get the Xbox version because you're getting it for $1. And then before people say, yeah, but it's only on there for 2 or 3 months, let's just conclude that games that I don't think people realise this, games that are on Game Pass all sell for £20 cheaper than retail. So every game that's on Game Pass, you can also purchase. You can actually buy these games. It's not just a rental service. It's actually a store, and you can buy every game in Game Pass with 20% off. So the moment MLB drops in Game Pass, you can purchase that game for 20% off retail. So even if you don't just play the rental version, you do buy the game, you still get it 20% less than it would be on PlayStation. So, this is why Xbox is making so much money. This is what they now can't grasp. They think everyone's just renting games, and nobody's buying the games. That's not true, that's a falsehood. Many people actually buy the games, I've done it, actually buy the games once they've played them from Game Pass because you get 20% off retail. And that moves me nicely onto my final point about digital sales. So this is sort of more proof that digital sales are increasing massively, exponentially over physical sales. You get a lot of the PS fanboys saying nobody wants digital, nobody's gone digital, all subscription services uses. This graph here is more support towards my point that Game Pass, people are going buying digital. It's a fact. This is dated back to only 2018. We're in 2021 now, so I can't imagine how much digital has increased since COVID, because this is pre-COVID stats. So since COVID, you can imagine digital's increased even more due to the lack of open shops and things like that. And people have gone more digital than ever before. So this is more support for Game Pass. People getting Game Pass, preferring to play games digitally, downloading games digitally, and purchasing games via Game Pass for 20% off, etc, 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 and all the other subscription services. The digital sales are increasing massively over physical. Physical is, if anything's dying out, because at the end of the day, you're saying, oh, I want to own my games. You're just owning plastic. The physical game you own is just plastic. The licenses are still in your game. When you buy a physical game, you still get a key, a license to it, just as the digital one. And at any time they can shut that license off, which Sony have reportedly done very recently. They've shut off all PS3 games. So anyone with PS3 games, you can't play those games anymore. They've closed the servers and closed everything. So, if you had those physical games, even if you had the physical versions, you still can't play them because Sony have shut them down. So there's a massive outcry about it. So to fit the whole narrative that physical is better than digital is an illusion. It's an absolute illusion/delusion. Because the good thing about digital for me and for many others, this is why people are buying it, is that every digital game I buy, I get 2 copies of it. That's what Xbox offers. So I can play it on my console, and then my son gets a version of his. So this is especially rewarding for co-op games. It means Call of Duty, if I buy it. Can't stand the game, I'm not saying I'll buy that game, but he's bought it, I got a copy of it. I would never have bought that game, but he bought it, so I got a copy of it. If I buy another game, I get a copy, he gets a copy. That's saving massive amounts of money. Let's say you bought Call of Duty for £70. I get 2 copies for £70 rather than just one digitally. Whereas if you want physical copies, that's £70 a pop. It's just a much cost-effective way of gaming, and it's not hurting developers at all. It's not hurting Xbox at all. They've got massive. Their revenue's gone shooting up in games. Year on year, their revenue's going up. Xbox games revenue's going up. Developers more and more move into Game Pass. I'm shocked that you still can't see it. You're getting even first-party PlayStation games sort of going over to it now. They're losing their exclusives. Yakuza, Final Fantasy and stuff, they're all moving to Game Pass. The delusion that developers not making money from Game Pass is that exactly, a delusion and a myth, which is spread by sorry, salty Sony fanboys that are just clinging on to hope, clinging on to something. They just won't let go of outdated meta. So, I think I will leave it there. Thank you for joining my channel, for seeing this video wrong. Please sub and share. I'm trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. It'd be nice to get 1,000 subs, but you know, not essential, because I'll still be here, because I still enjoy doing what I do. Thank you all for watching. Hope you liked the video, and goodbye for now.